Hello, this is Pam. I'm a Stampin' Up! Independent demonstrator, and today I have a gift box to share with you that uses the new gift box punch board that Stampin' Up! Is showcasing in the holiday catalog. And it makes a bunch of different sized boxes, and I've been playing with it and seeing what all different types of projects that I can make with it. And I wanted an open box, so this is one that I've come up with. It pretty much uses the same steps as you would to make a regular box, but I did not close it up or put the little groove or slot punch that this end makes to close it up that way. So I guess I'll show a little bit of the punch board. I don't want to take the whole time because there's lots of other videos that people have shared about the punch board. But on this side you'll see all the various size boxes that you can make. It shows the size of your paper that you need, and then your start line, which is over on this side, and then the diagonal line, which is on this side. So whenever you make a box, no matter what size it is, you will always score 3 different lines. You'll have this one, and then this one. And these diagonal lines here are for this part of the box. You can see that in the video. It shows you a little picture. Is this right here, and those kind of fold in to make your box, and you can do lots of different things with this as far as the box style that you want. So I'm going to have to turn this around because when I make the box I'm not going to do upside down. That'll just be too much. And it does have this little extension on the side, because the larger your paper is, the longer score line this way that you will need. So it has that little arm that you can extend, and on mine I'm actually needing that because my paper size is a 9 by 9 and the finished box is 2.5 by 2.5 by 3 1/4. So I need the extension there. And then it shows you here that you'll start on the M, which is over here, and then your other score line will be on the L. So when you start to score, you'll score on, put your paper up against this line here, and then score and punch and so on. So I'm going to turn that around so I can work with it. And it does come with the same type of scoring tool that the envelope punch board uses. It slides right in there. So the paper that I'm going to make today, or the paper that I'm going to make the box with today is Coastal Cabana, and this is from the DSP paper stack, and I want the polka dot paper to be on the outside of the box, so I'm going to have it face up. And you just put it in there. Like I said, you line it up with the M because that's what the directions showed me to do. And let me get my punch board a little bit in camera a little bit more so you can see it there. So start it on the M, and you're going to have to hold it in place because you have to score here, 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 and then you have to punch. So it may seem a little awkward when you first start using it, but it's really not. So what I like to do is punch first, and then I make the long score line here, and then I start over here. This is supposed to be the L, and come down. And when you hit this line, the score line, it will kind of stop you, so you won't keep going. It stops right there, and then the first one here on my box is not folded. So do not score this line. Just leave that one alone. And then you turn it, and then now you do all 3. So put your paper up against the guide, punch, and then I do the long one. I come up here and do this one, and then I come down here and I do that one last. And you do the same steps all the way around the box. Punch it and score it in the same way. And then let's see, I got 2 more. when you get to the last step, every box is made, like I said, pretty much the same way. You make the same score lines and the same punches. Alright, so now I'm back to the beginning here where I started. I have no score line here. So the next step to do is to flip your paper upside down. And see, we have no score line right there, or no punch mark right there. So you put your paper back up into where you started originally, which on my box is the M. Line it up there and punch. That's it. You can just rotate it all the way around again, and all you do is punch. No score lines at all. Just punch around. And then that's it. That's all for the punching and scoring of the gift box. Now, if you would make a traditional gift box, you put your paper up here in the corner, and that makes a slot. So when the papers go together, they're slotted, I guess, like this, so they would fit together and kind of lock. But my box that I'm making today, I am not using that. I'm actually going to round the corners off on all of mine. So I'm going to get the envelope punch board out and use it because it does have a corner rounder in there. So just stick all your papers or all your corner pieces into there and just round all those corners. You could also use the handheld corner rounder, the Project Life, the new one. If you have that one would work fine too. So I have all of mine rounded. You don't have to round them, but I like the look a little bit more of the rounded corners. So this is going to be where the back is, or where it's not scored. This is going to be the back of my box. It's going to stand upright. But I want my polka dots to be on the outside. So I'm going to start folding the polka dots to this pattern. So on all the score lines, go ahead and start folding and burnishing down your edges, and you can use the little scoring tool that came with the gift box punch board. I like to crease it with my fingers first. That one is a little, I think that one's a little off, but I think it'll be alright. And then these flaps we're going to fold the other direction, but I'm going to go ahead and do these first. You could also make this with cardstock, but a lot of those boxes that it calls for, you need a large piece of paper. Like I said, this one is a 9x9 to start off with. So if you want to use your cardstock, you'll need to use the 12x12 paper. And I generally never buy the 12x12 paper, so I don't have any. I have a couple colors, but they're retired colors, so I wanted to use current colors, so that's why I'm using the designer paper. And I like Stampin' Up's designer paper. It's a pretty heavy weight, so it's nice when you make boxes and stuff with it because it's not real flimsy. It holds up quite well on its own. So that is the scoring and the burnishing of the box. I said these flaps go to the outside, and then this one does not because it becomes the back. Now these diagonal lines that we've made in these boxes, they actually get folded to the inside of the box. And that I kind of just use my hands. It gets folded, and then this becomes your sides. Now, I've been playing with them, like I said, with this box, gift box punch board a little bit, and you can make a cute little box with them on the outside. But for this box, it gets folded to the inside, so I'm going to just go around and gently fold those in on all of them. And I will use glue dots and the tape runner to hold these in place, because if you don't put them into place when you make your box, they'll just be loose in there. And if you want an explosion box, that's fine. But this particular box is going to be open on the inside, so it doesn't close up. So I don't really want the explosion type. I want it all closed up. So once they're all creased good on the inside, I want to tape these together. I want to tape all of the corners together, and then we'll eventually fold them back. So I'm just going to use the tape runner here and put adhesive on these. It doesn't really matter which side you use them on or what side you put your tape on, because they're all going to get stuck together. And then when we get it put on the inside, I'm going to use glue dots to hold them together even more. So once you have your adhesive on there, bring your corners together and line them up as much as you can. Make sure that they're even, and just push them together. And you do that on all 4 corners. Alright, so then that's what your box will look like. And then that's the inside. And see, that's, you can't really put anything in there with all those flaps in the way. So I use the glue dots, and I put, let's see this one a little better. I put the flaps glued down onto the inside on each other. So I just put a glue dot on the very inside corner, fold them over and fold them over. So I would need 4. And then the corners up here, I'm also going to put a glue dot in. I don't know if I can get that in the video or not. Right in the corner of each flap. And then also right on the top on this part, I'm also going to put a glue dot, because if you don't, it'll kind of gape open, which, I mean, it doesn't really affect it too much, but I just like it closed up a little bit more. So do that on each flap, one at the top there, and then one in the very corner, as that's stuck to my, I use my paper piercing tool to get the glue dots off of the roll and stuck on here. Sometimes they stick. It's needs cleaned off. Alright, so I take the front one in first and just fold it down on itself, and then I take the one in the back and fold it to the front. And you can get the glue dots worked in just by pinching the 2 sides together, and then that holds it into place. And then you don't get if you think there's too much of a gap, well, you can always put another glue dot, but I'm going to put some twine all the way around this, so that'll help pinch it together a little bit more. I'm not real concerned with the sides of it being open. So the same on this side, held in place, and that's pretty much all there is to finishing that box. Now I will decorate this one. I didn't decorate this one. This was like my prototype box, and this is the old retired Parker's Pattern designer series paper. It's not absolutely my favorite. That's why I used it as a sample, and I didn't decorate that. So I'm going to decorate this one to finish it off. And I still love the color combo of Coastal Cabana and Real Red. That's just one of my favorites. So I'm going to decorate it with the red accents. And for the stamping of this, I've used the Label Love stamp set. There's 7 stamps in this, and it coordinates with the this is not the Artisan. Yeah, this is the Artisan. The Artisan Label Punch. You can see it better on that side. You can buy this as a bundle in the new catalog. Or you can just, buy one separate if you already have the punch, or you can get the stamp set to match. I love stamping and punching your shapes out. It gives it a nice finished look. And then the flowers are my favorite, the Petite Petal Punch. You can see it, not really. there. The Petite Petals punch, I did one in the Coastal Cabana, and then I did one in the Real Red, and I'm going to grab my trusty mouse pad here, and I'm going to bend up the flowers a little bit. If you have the Stampin' Pierce mat, that works just fine too, but I have my mouse pad, and I use the end of my piercer tool, and I just push those down in. I do this, you should see me do that to almost every flower that I make. I like that look. I like it. Gives it three-dimensional look. And then to the centers, I am going to add some rhinestones. I don't really want the big ones. I want the big ones. Medium size. Those aren't the big ones. Medium sized ones, yes. The medium size. These are the large ones. So I'm going to use, again, the little piercer tool as my little picker-up tool. And stick those down. Yes, I do flatten them out, but since they're already smushed up like that, it's easy to put them back into place. Put those into the center of each of those, and that's all there is to do with that. And you can push them up a little bit more. Now for the label, I am going to put a dimensional on the back of that, and one is good enough to hold that up. And I'm going to put it on the back here. And I think I'll put it off to the side a little bit. I'm not going to push down on that right away, because in case I need to move it, if you don't press down real hard on the dimensionals, you can get them back off there. But if you push down real hard, it's just going to tear it. And I want Coastal Cabana one first, since my label is the red. And let's see if those place well there. And then the red one. I might even, if it needs something more, I might even take the, no, I think that's good. See? Came right off. I think my paper piercer tool is needing cleaning. I have some alcohol. That works good for getting that off of there. The sticky residue. Alright, so then that's good, so I'm going to push back down on my dimensional there. So then that's pretty much all there is to put on the back of that. I think that looks great. Now around the side, I said I was going to put some twine, and I'm going to use the baked brown sugar. This is the thick baker's twine. It's a lot thicker than the regular twine around the edges. This is just about 20 inches, and I took two lengths, and I'm going to turn this around so I can tie the bow on there. So I will just wrap that around even and tie it off. To the side. I might slide it over to the other side. Let's see what looks better. Yeah, I think I'll put it off to the other side. That looks good. And if you have any, obviously that was a little crooked. Just trim that off. Fluff up your bow a little bit. And that finishes that box off. I think it's cute. You could take strips of cardstock. You can use your fringe scissors and fill that with like confetti, almost looking filler, and put your little treat in there. That way it gets kind of hidden in there, or tissue paper. But I think it makes a cute box. I like the open style, and I like the back, the high back without it being folded over. So I hope you enjoy this cute little box with a brand new gift box punch board. And I will have all these measurements and descriptions and stuff on my blog. I'll have a link down below this video. It's wearestampers.blogspot.com. And thanks so much for joining. Bye.